Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to open this session of the Global Forum 2022 for the National Trade Facilitation Committees on accelerating the implementation of trade facilitation reforms through the National Trade Facilitation Committees despite the pandemic. Thank you for the kind invitation extended to the UNECE. The COVID-19 pandemic has sunk the global economy into a recession. World trade has suffered immensely due to supply chain disruptions. In 2020, the value of merchandise exports fell by 8%, while trade in services declined by 21%. Economies in transition of the UNECE region, including Central Asia, have been significantly affected by this downturn. And as micro, small and medium enterprises are more than 90% of all businesses involved, the impact on them has been severe. The social distancing measures and restrictions on movement caused by the pandemic led global trade to move rapidly to digital channels. The shift has greatly increased online retail trade. Moreover, lines of trucks, often hundreds of vehicles long, were a frequent sight at many border crossings at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Quarantining of containers at seaports and increased delays for restricted goods were also common. Reforms aimed at overcoming those logistical barriers have helped many countries improve trade flows. Trade facilitation plays a vital role in building back better from COVID-19 and increasing resilience against future emergencies. Simplification, standardization, harmonization, modernization of international cross-border trade, all of these make international trade faster and cheaper, as well as more accessible for SMEs and landlocked developing countries. It is time that we take a comprehensive view of the trade facilitation reforms that can contribute to the national sustainable development priorities of a country. We need a 360-degree view of trade facilitation, catering to the needs of the trading communities and the long-term sustainability of regulatory and commercial procedures. National Trade Facilitation Committees, or NTFCs, with balanced private and public sector participation, are perfect platforms for institutional coordination and stakeholder consultation. They enable the planning and implementation of successful trade facilitation reforms. The establishment of NTFCs that embrace the views and opinions of all stakeholders are indispensable for pursuing agreement, cooperation, and coordination. In fact, NTFCs can act as the main coordinating body for any trade facilitation reforms. Let me cite here the UN Global Survey on Digital and Sustainable Trade Facilitation 2021, for which we led the component for the UNECE region in cooperation with UNCTAD and other regional commissions. In our region, 37 out of 44 participating countries either fully or partially establish a National Trade Facilitation Committee. Nevertheless, many countries, and in particular economies in transition, still struggle to make the most of NTFCs due to lack of resources, training, and connectivity. Ladies and gentlemen, UNECE stands with its member states and the global community with its normative instruments such as trade facilitation recommendations, e-business standards, and related guidance. Our UN Center for Trade Facilitation and Electronic Business, or UNCFACT, has revised and adopted Recommendation 4 on National Trade Facilitation Bodies, or NTFBs, one of the oldest recommendations, first adopted in 1974 and most recently updated in 2015. It is available in English, French, and Russian. It integrates guidelines that provide a detailed description of the steps for establishing the NTFC, as well as model terms of reference for NTFC, which countries can use or customize based on their national context. It also provides a non-exhaustive list of stakeholders that should be represented in an NTFB. Last year, UNECE also developed a training manual on NTFCs. It provides government authorities, traders, and related trade service providers with training materials to increase their knowledge and understanding of the key components of NTFCs and steps for establishing and effectively operating them. This includes information on the structure, governance, funding, sustainability, and membership of NTFCs. The manual provides the reader with tools that can be used to support informed policy decisions. UNECE is aware about the crucial role of international organizations in developing capacities of NTFCs, not only for implementation of the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement, but for integrating the trade facilitation agenda in national development strategies. In that context, the National Trade Facilitation Roadmap, or NTFR, is a pertinent instrument to consider. The roadmaps provide a time-bound vision with key goals and prioritized activities, taking into account other national development priorities. Recently, UNECE supported Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan to develop national trade facilitation roadmaps. Finally, I'm proud to announce that UNECE is finalizing the guide to the implementation of the Article 1.3 of the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement, Trade Facilitation Inquiry Points. The guide is expected to provide practical assistance to UN member states. This guide emphasizes the principle of sustainable and efficient use of resources in international trade, a principle related to the green economy. The concept of green and circular economy is of vital priority to the UNECE, as decided on the 69th Commission with member states. All of these instruments are available globally and are immensely useful to those involved in the establishment of trade facilitation committees and all concerned actors, both public and private. In conclusion, I once again thank the organizers for inviting me to this event, and I wish you a successful discussion and fruitful deliberations.